Leading the Nightline tonight, the Sarawak government is considering a proposal to increase the annual grant for the Sarawak Women and Family Council under the Sarawak Budget 2027. Premier Datuk Pati Tan Sri Abang Jari Tunapeng says the proposal put forward by Women, Early Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development Minister Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah will be taken into account in next year's state budget planning.
Permintaan daripada Datuk Seri Fatimah tadi akan kita masuk dalam bajet next year.
Antara permintaannya apa dia Datuk?
Tadi grant, tambahan grant tadi. Kira akan masuk dalam bajet untuk seluruh bajet. Dan juga mungkin ada perkara-perkara lainnya.
Earlier, Fatimah called for an annual MWKS grant to be increased from 54,400 ringgit, which has remained unchanged since 1986, to 500,000 ringgit. She says the additional funding will enable MWKS to better support women's organizations across Sarawak and strengthen its advisory role to the state government on policies and issues affecting women and families. The increased allocation, she added, will also enhance capacity building, women's empowerment programs, family well-being initiatives and collaboration with women's non-governmental organizations statewide. A major flood mitigation project in BATU KAWA is making faster than expected progress, bringing long-term relief a step closer for thousands of residents in one of Kuching's flood-prone areas. The 36.6 million ringgit Phase 2 flood mitigation project at Taman Desa Wira is now 11% ahead of schedule, with completion targeted for July next year. BATU KAWA Assemblyman Dr. Sim Kui Hyun says the project is progressing well and has urged contractors to maintain quality and stay on schedule. The project includes a 30,000 cubic meter detention pond, a pump house, flood wall and upgraded drainage to strengthen BATU KAWA's flood defences. Once completed, it will be the second of 4 detention ponds planned for BATU KAWA under a long-term flood mitigation strategy. With the first phase already completed, total investment now exceeds 51 million ringgit, while another 63.9 million ringgit has been set aside for 2 more detention ponds and drainage upgrades. The projects will also complement the federal government's 2.4 billion ringgit Sungai Sarawak Flood Diversion Canal, creating a more robust flood management system for the area. The Sarawak government is strengthening women's entrepreneurship with the launch of the Women Entrepreneurship Dashboard, the state's first integrated digital platform to support women-led businesses. Women, Early Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development Minister Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah says the platform brings together data and profiles of women entrepreneurs into a centralized database to support policy planning and the delivery of entrepreneurship development programs.
MWKS telah memulakan pembangunan WED melalui kerjasama MINTRAD, Ministry of International Trade, Industry and Investment Sarawak. Ini kepada Kawani, ini adalah hasil daripada lawatan kami ke Indonesia 2 tahun yang lalu. Kementerian Perdagangan Antarabangsa, Industri dan Pelaburan Sarawak dan juga dengan kerjasama Sarawak Civil Service Digitalisation Unit ataupun Unit Digitalisasi Perkhidmatan Awam Sarawak sebagai satu platform digital bersepadu pertama di Sarawak yang memfokuskan kepada pembangunan usahawan wanita.
Fatimah adds that the platform is expected to improve the monitoring of women entrepreneurs, enhance policy coordination, and facilitate the delivery of assistance and development programs more effectively. Furthermore, she reveals that her ministry is also implementing several strategic initiatives to strengthen women's leadership and produce more competitive women leaders. Kuching is set to take centre stage on the global heritage map as it hosts the 22nd ICOMOS General Assembly and Scientific Symposium, where the highly anticipated Kuching Declarathon is expected to chart a new direction for world heritage conservation. The declaration will promote the concept of living heritage, recognizing heritage as a living tradition that continues to thrive within communities. The initiative, led by ICOMOS Malaysia with support from the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Sarawak, aims to create a stronger national network for heritage conservation while showcasing Malaysia's cultural diversity on the global stage. MTCP Minister Datuk Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah says Sarawak is honoured to host GA 2026 in Kuching this October, describing it as a milestone for both the state and Malaysia. Meanwhile, President of ICOMOS Malaysia says the outcome is expected to become a new global benchmark for heritage conservation alongside internationally recognised frameworks such as the Venice Charter and the Nara document.
Sarawak dan Kuching especially is satu tempat dalam dunia di mana living heritage is still practiced. It is not something theory, it is something yang ada di sekitar. So that's why kita merasakan Kuching adalah bandaraya yang paling sesuai untuk dilakukan GA di Asia Tenggara.
Malaysia will host the prestigious ICOMOS General Assembly for the first time, making it the first Southeast Asian nation to stage the event. GA 2026 also forms part of UNESCO's 80th anniversary celebrations, featuring public programs, exhibitions and community engagement activities. Dato' Ismail Lasim, who was sworn in today as the new Menteri Besar of Negeri Sembilan, brings nearly 3 decades of political and administrative experience as an elected representative and state executive council member, complemented by his professional background as a lawyer. The 67-year-old Juwase Assemblyman took his oath of office before the Yang di-Pertuan Besar of Negeri Sembilan, Tuanku Muhriz Tuanku Munawir, at the Balairong Seri Istana Besar Seri Menanti. In his oath, Ismail pledged to uphold the trust and confidence placed in him by the people while carrying out the state's administration with fairness, transparency and efficiency for the prosperity as well as progress of Negeri Sembilan. Ismail began his political career after being elected to the Negeri Sembilan State Legislative Assembly in 1999, embarking on what has become almost 30 years of public service in state politics.
Parti memberi jaminan bahawa amanah serta kepercayaan yang telah diberikan oleh rakyat akan sentiasa dipelihara dan dijunjung sebaik mungkin. Parti bersama seluruh barisan kepimpinan kerajaan negeri akan berusaha sedaya upaya untuk menjadi kerajaan yang mendengar, berkhidmat dan bekerja demi kesejahteraan rakyat serta kemajuan Negeri Sembilan.
In the 16th Negeri Sembilan state election, he retains the Juwase state seat with a majority of 4,091 votes, securing 6,907 votes against Pakatan Harapan's Muhammad Aidil Abdullah with 2,816 votes and Bersatu's Muhammad Zuhaimi Mat Yusof with 506 votes. The state election saw Barisan Nasional win 18 seats, while Perikatan Nasional secured 11 seats, allowing the two coalitions to form the state government with a 2/3 majority. The lineup of the Negeri Sembilan State Cabinet or Executive Council is expected to be finalised by this Friday at the latest. A small plane carrying foreign tourists to view Peru's famed Nazca Line's archaeological site crashed Saturday, killing all 13 people on board. 7 Italians, 2 Germans and 2 Spaniards were killed, along with 2 crew members, a spokesman for the Transport Ministry said. The incident occurred shortly after 1 p.m. local time after the Cessna 208 caravan took off from the airport in Pisco, located about 240 kilometers south of the capital, Lima. Police Major Jorge Andrade told reporters at the crash site that 11 passengers and 2 crew members have died. Given the severity of the accident, there are no survivors. According to him, they have recovered 4 bodies. He also did not give any immediate indication of what may have caused the crash. Peru's Civil Aviation Authority and the Air Accident Agency will investigate the accident. Agents were already on the scene collecting evidence. Firefighters and police, some wearing face masks, were working amid the twisted, smouldering wreckage of the aircraft. US President Donald Trump says the United States and Israel have agreed to hold off on launching new strikes against Iran, provided a deal to end the months-long conflict is reached quickly. The announcement came amid renewed fears of a wider regional conflict after Trump recently warned of possible military action against Iran. A report suggested Washington was considering further attacks, including on energy infrastructure. Trump said the U.S. remained prepared for military action, but had agreed to delay any new strikes following requests from Iran and other West Asian countries to allow time for negotiations. According to Trump, any agreement must include the immediate reopening of the Strait of Hormuz and measures to eliminate Iran's nuclear threat. He also said Israel supports the proposed framework. The conflict, which began on February 28 with U.S. and Israeli strikes on Tehran, has now stretched beyond 5 months with no clear resolution in sight. A previous ceasefire agreement that included reopening the Strait of Hormuz collapsed, and Iran has since tightened its control over the strategic waterway as fighting resumed in recent weeks. The renewed hostilities have pushed global oil prices higher after they briefly eased during the earlier ceasefire. The developments also come just 3 months before the U.S. midterm elections, adding political pressure on Trump's administration as the conflict continues. A truck bomb exploded Saturday near a police station in the northern Colombian city of Cúcuta, close to the Venezuelan border, injuring 14 people days before President-elect Abelardo de la Espriella takes office. Authorities blame the attack on the National Liberation Army, ELN, Colombia's largest active guerrilla group. The blast wounded 11 police officers and 3 civilians, with 2 officers reported in critical condition. The explosion caused fires and damaged nearby buildings, according to witnesses and local officials. The government has offered a reward of more than $64,000 for information leading to the arrest of those responsible. The attack comes ahead of de la Espriella's August 7 inauguration. The incoming right-wing president has vowed to end peace talks with armed groups, including the ELN, after negotiations stalled last year following renewed violence. Meanwhile, the United Nations condemned the bombing, warning that such attacks fuel fear among local communities. Get all the updates you need all in one app as TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire will turn your screen whenever, wherever. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Shulja Mato. Thank you for watching and have a good night.